Hello, welcome to Biology for You. In this video, we are going to discuss the basic concept of genetic engineering. In this series of videos, we are going to have the detailed concept of genetic engineering later, but in this very video, we are going to have the basic concept. That means what is the fundamental idea of genetic engineering and what are the steps involved in it, like that. So, what exactly genetic engineering is? Genetic engineering is nothing but the process of or tools and technologies that are involved in the manipulation of a genome of an organism. So, why after all we need to manipulate the genome? So, let's coming to that point. Generally, if we want to express one extra added character in our experimental organism, we need to go for genetic engineering. That means we can if we find a desirable character in any other organism, we can take that responsible gene and we can introduce that gene into our experimental organism or host organism, so that eventually this host organism will turns into the one which capable of expressing our desired character. So that is how genetic engineering helps us. This genetic engineering is also called as molecular cloning. We can also call it as molecular cloning. And we can also call it as rDNA technology. Generally, in the genetic engineering process, we are going to clone or copy, make it into number of copies. The desired gene is going to be multiplied or amplified into number of copies in a suitable host organism, so that the gene will be amplified, and if that is for production of some protein or like that, the protein will be the product will be higher. So this is also called as molecular cloning, because we are going to clone the DNA, part of DNA responsible for this desirable expression of desirable character or maybe a gene. So it is also called as rDNA technology. R stands for recombinant DNA technology. So here we are going to create recombinations in the one's genome. So we will introduce one gene into genome of an organism, so that it will start expressing that gene also, along with the set of already existing genes. So we are going to create recombinations in DNA. So here it is also called as recombinant DNA technology. So coming to the basic applications of genetic engineering, it has got many applications in different fields. Like in medical field, it is very much helpful to produce different vaccine, hormones, like that. Insulin is the best example, which is generally produced in large scale in a simple bacteria. So here in this case, the human insulin gene is introduced into this bacteria, and these bacteria started creating more copies of insulin gene, and it start expressing or it started producing insulin in large scale in medical industries. So here the commercial insulin available in market is produced through genetic engineering. So that is one of the major application and very well known example for genetic engineering. Coming to the agriculture field, what if we want to incorporate some resistant genes towards it may be towards the environmental resistance, or maybe towards the towards some biotic stress that is facing that has been facing a plant. So here we can just incorporate this stress resistant genes in the plant so that the plants will eventually become resistant towards that stress, that may be biotic or abiotic, climatic. So that is how in agriculture field the genetic engineering is quite helpful. So coming to the gene therapeutics. So here, as we already discussed, we can manipulate the genes. So it is quite helpful in the gene therapies. And also coming to the industrial sector, it is quite helpful to produce various valuable products. So coming to the what exactly the process, how it goes, the genetic engineering and RDNA technology, how it goes. So coming to that point, generally as we already discussed, generally we are going to select a gene first. So first what we need to have is a desired gene. So here this desired gene, so this desired gene is responsible for expressing a beneficial character. That's what we want to express in our experimental organism. First we need to identify this desired gene. So this desired gene is also known as gene of our interest. So this desired gene or gene of our interest, or it also called as target gene. All are the same. All these are desired gene or gene of our interest or target gene are nothing but the gene responsible for a beneficial character that we want to express in our experimental organism, host organism. So that need to be isolated. So let us consider this gene of our interest may be found in a plant or maybe an animal. So this animal is the source organism for the gene, desired gene. So here we need to isolate the whole genome of an organism. That means the DNA of an organism need to be isolated. Then we need to make a cut where exactly the target gene is. So we need to cut the target gene and we need to insert it into host cell. Let us consider it as bacteria. So we need to introduce this target gene into bacteria so that in later on stages this bacteria is able to express this target gene. So that is the basic concept of genetic engineering. So let's discuss how exactly we will introduce this. So coming to the key steps. So here first we need to isolate a target gene. So first we need to isolate the target gene, and secondly we need to insert it into suitable vector. So here this vector is nothing but a vehicle. That means it is also a genetic material, that means a DNA, molecule of DNA which has a self-existence. So this vector, how it helps? This target DNA is generally inserted into a suitable vector, that is a vehicle generally, which transport this target gene into host organism. So generally this host organism, that is a living organism, let it be a bacteria, animal or plant. Generally living organisms cannot take a small piece of DNA into it. They don't allow, or even the DNA has been taken, like the gene or DNA part has been taken into the cell, it generally degrades the DNA. So we need a stable carrier for that. So here the vector is considered as a stable carrier or a vehicle which can transport this target gene into host cell. So that is the second step. First we need to isolate this target gene, and secondly we need to insert it into a suitable vector. Here this vector is going to transport this target gene into host organism. So that is the second step. Third, transformation. Transformation is nothing but introduction of this vector, recombinant vector which has the target DNA in it into the host cell. So that is the process of transformation. Okay, once after we transform the host cell, we need to go for selection or screening. Here we need to make sure that the culture what we have is having all transformed cells. That means even we use a vector for transforming the host cell, that means even we use a vector that carries a target gene, we are going to introduce that into host cell. Generally this culture containing host cells generally will make tissue culture. We will introduce these vectors into tissue cultured cells. So here in the tissue culture cells we may not be sure that all cells in the tissue culture dish are able to take up the DNA or not. We may not be very sure about that. So we need to go for selection of the transformed cells. That means the cells that have taken the target gene. So here we need to select the transformed cells against non-transformed cells. So that is the process of screening. So these four are the basic steps in the genetic engineering. So if we go more detail into each individual steps, here first we need to isolate the target gene. So how do we do that? Generally, let us, as we already discussed, let's take the same example. Let us take a animal cell. Any animal cell or plant cell, whatever it could be, it is a source organism. Source organism, in its genome there is a gene of our interest or the target DNA. So here we find this target DNA. So let's color it. Okay, this blue colored part is the target gene. So first we need to isolate the target gene. So how do we do that? First we need to isolate whole DNA. So first step is isolation of a DNA from the source organism. Then we need to make it into small fragments. So what we expect from this is one of the fragment is having this target gene. So generally this DNA, the DNA isolated from an organism will be cut with molecular scissors. So What are molecular scissors? Molecular scissors are the enzymes, restriction enzymes. These restriction endonucleases are the enzymes which can cut the DNA from the middle and at specific regions, so that our target gene will be isolated without disturbance. That means the whole part of DNA as a whole, the target DNA will be isolated. So here these molecular scissors are restriction endonucleases or simply restriction enzymes. These restriction enzymes are able to cut the DNA into small pieces based on the restriction sites. That means recognition sites. Every restriction enzyme has specific recognition sites. That means this recognition site is nothing but a sequence of DNA. At particular sequence of DNA, they'll cut the DNA. So here the fragments all are having the specific recognition sequence, so they'll be cut into very small fragments. So and we expect one of its fragment is having a target DNA. So here we'll go for gel electrophoresis. Gel electrophoresis is the process of separation of DNA fragments based on their molecular weights. So all fragments in the experiment tube will be separated into bands according to their molecular weights, and small fragment able to reach the bottom and larger fragments which has a high molecular weight will stay at the top of the gel. So top of the gel. So here still we don't know where the target gene is. In this gel electrophoregram, we really don't know where the target gene is. We need to look for that. So here we need to select the target gene, identification of target gene among the fragments. Generally we'll go for Southern blotting. Generally we'll go for Southern blotting or similar procedures which can identify the target gene from the set of separated bands in the gel electrophoresis. Generally, if we know a small piece of sequence in the target gene, we can simply hit that sequence. So by complementary nature, generally that is what happens in the Southern blotting. So here we can identify this target gene by the probes we are going to design. These probes are nothing but complementary sequences to the target DNA that go and hit the target DNA. Here this gel is generally fragile and very much delicate for this selection, the steps involved in the selection of the desired gene. So here we need to transfer all these bands onto a membrane which is more resistant towards the heat and different reactions that's going to takes place in the identification of genes. So that is how blotting happens. So here we need to go for Southern blotting. In that southern blotting process, we are going to transfer all these bands from the cell to the membrane, resistant membrane. So once after we transfer all these bands, we are going to identify this target gene using a suitable probe. Probe is a complementary sequence which can go and attach with the target DNA, so that the target DNA will be selected. Later the DNA will be isolated, the part of DNA or a gene will be isolated. So that is how isolation of target gene will be carried. So coming to the next step, insertion into a suitable vector. So as we already discussed, we need to have a vector for transport. That means we already have target DNA isolated. This target DNA need to be inserted into a suitable vector so that the vector can transport this gene into host cell. So our target DNA need to be stably transformed so that the vector is needed. Generally, there are many types of vectors in the molecular biology, and one of the most widely used vector is the plasmid. So here plasmid is nothing but the extra chromosomal DNA which mostly present in double stranded covalently closed circular form. This is independent from the main genome. So let us consider it as main chromosome, and these two are plasmids. So here plasmids are generally widely used vectors in the genetic engineering because they are small. They will be like similar to 10 kb to 100 kb, and these are self-existing and independently replicating. The replication of plasmid is not dependent on the host genome. So here if we introduce this target gene into the plasmid, they can simply amplify because they have origin. So if we introduce our target gene into this vector is able to multiply into number of copies. It is not dependent on the replication of the main chromosome, so that the number of copies will be much higher than the main chromosome. So here this plasmid or vector need to have different qualities to act as a vector. That means the major characters of a vector need to be self-replicating. So a DNA molecule with origin of replication can only be self-replicated, and it need to have high copy number. That means number of copies it can produce will be higher. So high copy number. Thirdly, it must have restriction enzyme sites so that it can be easily cut. So recognition sites for different restriction enzyme sites. These are also called as cloning sites because we can clone our target DNA at that particular part. So restriction sites. And also it need to have so these are the major qualities of a vector. And it is also need to have a selectable marker. So that this selectable marker is mostly it is an antibiotic resistance gene. So this selectable marker helps us to select the transformed cells, recombinant vectors. So these recombinant vectors, as we already discussed in the screening step, we need to select the transformed cells. So here these vectors need to have a selectable marker. So this marker helps us to select the transformed cells. So all these characters, if a DNA molecule is small and have a ability of self-replicating, that means it must have an origin of replication, and if it is existed in high copy number, and if it have some restriction enzyme sites, so that the DNA will be easily inserted into it, and also if it is having a selectable marker, so that in the later on steps we can easily select the transformed cells from the non-transformed cells, then this particular DNA molecule is considered as vector. So here in the second step, as we already discussed, we already isolated the target gene. So in the second step, we are going to have these vectors. So these vectors are treated with restriction enzymes so that they will be just cut open. So restriction enzyme able to cut the vector DNA, and the target DNA will be introduced in the open part. So here the restriction enzyme used to isolate the target DNA must be the same which is used for cutting the this vector, so that the ends will be similar. So the complementary ends will go and attach easily. So here the target DNA will be cut with the same restriction enzyme, and the vector will also cut open with the same restriction enzyme. So the cuts will be similar and our target DNA will be easily inserted. So here, even though due to the complementary nature of these overhangs, they may be attached with each other, but there will be nicks. That means one nucleotide gaps can be seen between the target DNA and the vector molecule. So here these nicks are sealed by DNA ligase. So here this DNA ligase is a molecular glue which can patch up the target DNA with the vector molecule. Here this restriction enzymes are called as molecular scissors, and ligase is also called as molecular glue. So once after ligase helps us to attach the target DNA with vector, then we are going to have recombinant vector. That means vector containing gene of our interest. So this is recombinant vector. So that is how the insertion of target DNA into vector will be carried. So coming to the third step. Third step in the genetic engineering, that is transformation. Coming to the transformation. Transformation is nothing but the process of introducing this recombinant vector into host cell. So as we already discussed, the living organism or cells, live cells, are not ready to take up the foreign DNA. So we need to make the host cell compatible. So we need to make it competent. So let us consider this recombinant vector is going to be introduced in the host cell. Let us consider it as a bacteria. It is not easily going into the bacteria because the bacteria is not able to accept the foreign DNA. So we need to make this bacteria competent towards this recombinant vector. So there are many methods for transformation. There are physical methods which can puncture the bacterial cell, that means a host cell, let it be a bacteria. Only in this case we have been discussing with bacteria, but the host cell, that could be a bacteria or a plant or maybe an animal cell, that will be transformed with different methods. That could be a physical method or chemical method or maybe indirect methods. So here there are many methods like physical methods or chemical methods. Or maybe some indirect methods. So here, coming to the physical methods of transformation. So in the transformation, as we already discussed, it is the process of introducing recombinant vector into the host organism. In the physical methods, physically the host cell is punctured so that the DNA will be inserted into that. So it can start accepting the foreign DNA molecule in the culture dish. So there are many physical methods like microinjection, electroporation and shotgun method, like that. And these physical methods physically make the bacteria to accept the foreign gene. So here there are some chemical methods. These chemical methods make the bacteria more competent. That means treatments with the calcium chloride and PEG, that is nothing but polyethylene glycol, which makes the kind of ladder which can accept the target gene, recombinant vector into the host cell. So there are some chemical methods. These chemical treatments enable the bacteria to accept the foreign DNA, that is recombinant vector in this case. So here there are some indirect methods. Generally these indirect methods incorporate another organism like a bacteria or a virus, bacteriophage. So these indirect methods use another organism, living organism, to transport this vector into the host DNA. So there are two main examples. Bacteriophages are used as carriers for this vector transport into the host cell for transformation, and also Agrobacterium tumefaciens is the organism which generally used, that bacteria is generally used to transform plant cells. So like this, there are physical methods, chemical methods and indirect methods which deals with the other organism. So likewise, using these systems, we are going to introduce this recombinant vector into this target host organism. So here, once after the transformation has takes place, the bacteria or host organism So this host organism accepted this recombinant vector and it start expressing and cloning it into multiple copies, because as we already discussed, this vector having origin of replication and it can replicate itself and it maintains the copy number. So with this all this character, it stably maintains the target gene and express into the host organism. So that is how genetic engineering. The bacteria is genetically modified. So hence it is called as genetically modified organism. So if it is an animal cell, we need to go for culture so that the whole organism will be developed from the single cells. And if it is a plant, we will go for tissue culture so that whole plant is having this genetically modified that plant will be called as addressed as the genetically modified organism. So here, okay, up to this the transformation is carried, but as we already discussed, we may not be very sure that all cells present in the culture dish are transformed. Generally, there is a very limited hope for that, because generally most of the cells may not take it. So here the screening is the process which can select the transformed cells from the non-transformed cells. Even the transformed cell that is having the vector molecule may not having the target DNA in it. That means self-ligated vectors without this target DNA can also be transformed. So we need to go for selection. Here in this selection process, first we need to select transformed cells against the non-transformed cells, and we need to select the transformed cells with recombinant vector. Cells with target DNA in it. So these are the two steps. As we already discussed, we have different selectable markers. This vector molecule is having different characters. One of the character of the vector molecule is the expression of selectable marker. That means once after the host organism is transformed with recombinant vector, the selectable marker helps us to select the transformed cells. Generally, the idea of selection is like that. These selectable markers are in many cases are antibiotic resistant genes. That means let it be an amphicerin resistance. This amphicerin resistant gene is resistant towards the amphicerin antibiotic. So if a DNA having this resistant gene, that means if a bacteria having these resistant genes, that means the vector is in it. That means the set of bacterial cells in a culture dish which are able to express these resistant genes are transformed, and the remaining cells which are not able to express these resistant genes, this selectable marker, which are unable to express this selectable marker, are non-transformed. We can simply select them against non-transformed cells. So likewise, we need to select the transformed cells. So the last step is to culture. So up to this, we isolated the target gene. We introduced the target gene into vector, and later once after recombinant vector is formed, the recombinant vector is transformed into host cell, and in the host cell the cloning has taken place. That means the target gene is amplified into number of copies, or if we want to express that gene, if it is an expression vector, the target gene able to produce the protein, desired protein in high amount, and During the screening process, we are able to select the transformed cells, that means genetically modified cells. So the last step is, already we selected those cells which are able to express the desired gene, and the last step is culture. If it is a animal cell, so from the set of cells we need to go for culture to make them into a whole organism, whole living animal or a plant. If it is a bacteria, number of bacteria clone will be produced from the transformed cells. So the product, let it be a protein or DNA, will be produced in a large scale. So that is the process, basic idea of genetic engineering. The final product is called as GMO, genetically modified organism or recombinant organism. So that is the basic idea of genetic engineering. Here we are going to isolate the target gene which is having a beneficial character, and this target gene is introduced into suitable vector which is able to stably maintain the target gene and amplify it. And later we are going to transfer this vector into host organism, and later we are going for the selection procedure in which the host cells containing this recombinant DNAs will be selected against the non-transformed cells, and later we are going to culture the transformed or selected cells so that the whole genetically modified organism able to be produced. So that is the basic idea of genetic engineering. In the coming sessions, we are going to discuss every process in detailed manner. So there ends the session, and hope you are able to understand the basic concept of genetic engineering. Thank you.